Put your trust in us and we'll be champions.
Hello and welcome to the Money Badger. This is the newest show in town. I'm Dennett, the host and producer. This show is about blockchain and cryptocurrencies and how this technology is causing a new wave of innovation. We're going to see some of this innovation from some founders that have come up with ideas. They're going to be presenting in a little bit of a fun fashion. So we will have 3 founders presenting, and we also have a panel of 3 judges. They're from the VC community, and they'll be giving them feedback to see which one of these founders has the project that's closest or most exciting to the VCs. With the VCs, we have Tess Howe, who is our chief judge. So Tess, could you introduce yourself and the other judges, please?
Thank you. I'm Tess Howe. I'm the founder of Tess Ventures, and I am a serial entrepreneur, started a company. It was acquired, and today I invest in the top founders of the world. This is Dennis. He is a Berkeley graduate from School of Engineering, CIO and chief strategist for a $20 million per year IoT technology company. He represents Infinity Group, a VC firm. And we have Christopher Wen, CEO of Remo, a company focused on AI and artificial intelligence for IoT. He's an expert in machine learning in the enterprise space, and he's an advisor and investor in many Silicon Valley companies. Thank you.
Well, awesome and welcome. I'm so glad to have you here. This is going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to have the founders, but before they come up, we need to cover the rules. We have a timer, and each founder will be given 3 minutes to explain their project and what they're working on, followed by a 3-minute Q&A session where the VCs and the judges will get to question the founders on anything they want to see if it's something they're interested in. So, are there any questions, or shall we proceed to get the first contestant up here? All right. Well, if I could get our first contestant number 1, please come on up. You'll have 3 minutes to inform us of what you're working on, and then we'll follow it up with the 3 minutes of Q&A. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Start. Let's get the timer.
All right. My name is Bobby McFarland, and I'm one of the co-founders and president of a company called Cross-Install. We're based up in San Francisco. We're a team of 45 here in San Francisco, and then we have another 50 people internationally. So what we do is we're in the mobile advertising space. So we have advertisers coming to us to drive good quality users for them, for their campaigns. And specifically, one of the areas that we focus in on is mobile gaming. So you could think of companies like Zynga or EA. They come to us and actually have us drive users through the App Store down and into their apps. And so the way that we do this is we have a bunch of really machine learning and a bunch of tech that enables us to basically pick up signals that enable us to look at each individual user as they're browsing across apps and actually score them. What we're always looking for is this user going to be a valuable user for our advertiser? And our advertisers it's a high bar to actually hit, because our users are actually looking for users that are going to not only install but come back day 1, day 3, and eventually take out their wallet and pay. And so in the way we do that is by looking at all these set of signals that we have available to us. And so this is actually, it leads into a larger issue that it's playing out right now is, the signals that we actually leverage are much less, they're decreased in terms of what you're looking at, say like some of the social networks out there, say what Google has in terms of actually really knowing who the user is. And so we think there's a big shift that's actually occurring, and we don't even think it, we see it, and we're seeing it over in Europe right now with legislation that's coming down. And we're also starting to see it in the US, where actually the government and actually users are starting to stand up and say, listen, we want to actually have control over our data. We don't know how our data is being used. We don't know how our data is being shared. And so what we're looking at is the ability to actually enable that. We want to basically ask 2 questions should they have the opportunity to actually manage their data? Should they have the opportunity to say, this is data that I'm willing to share out to an advertiser? And the other question I have is, should a user be rewarded for the sharing of that data? And so we believe those are two things that are very critical. And so what we're doing is we're setting up a consortium of companies founded by us that's basically taking on the task of setting up the mechanics of doing this. We're going to do two things. We're basically going to enable a user within our ads, with the ads that we deliver, to basically control the data that they're shipping out to advertisers. And then the second piece of that is actually rewarding them. We believe that the more data you share, it improves the targeting that we have for only us, but also our advertisers. We look at you as a value. We look at you as a number, and the value that we see for advertisers, that's what we focus in on. And so that's what our project is really about.
Time is up. Well, thank you for that presentation. So awesome to have an in-studio audience with the clapping. Thank you. All right, VCs, have at it.
All right, Bobby, you already have a successful company that makes like 100 million per year. What made you decide to venture into blockchain world, especially when the tech is so new?
For us, we really saw, and basically, you just want to correct something. It's 50 million per year is what we're doing. 100 million over the last 2 years, basically what it is. But what we saw is that if we don't do this now, we're going to get left behind. It's a definite fact that blockchain is going to impact advertising. When you have things like a public ledger where data can flow into that, and it's not owned by a single company, but it's the truth. It's actually who that user is. It's incredibly powerful for a company like us to enrich the data that we have today. We have such a limited data set that blockchain really the public ledger is something that is crucial, and that's what advertisers are going to be asking for in the future.
Bobby, so who are really your competitors? And by using this blockchain tech of yours, why will you be better than your competitors?
Yeah, I think that, in terms of the way that we look at it, our competitors are other like demand side platforms that are similar to us, and there's also Google and Facebook that are obviously competitors to us. But what we look at it is we're focused in on this Myriad project is the way that we're looking at our blockchain project, and that's basically a consortium of companies that can actually come together. We believe that the data rolling into a public ledger, if it's actually accessed by multiple companies that are similar to us, it's better for the end user. And it's going to be better for just the entire ad ecosystem. So we are actually doing more of a collaborative approach to this than just owning it via cross-install.
Yeah. So Bobby, speaking of ecosystem, the ad tech ecosystem has seen a lot of margin pressure in the past few years. Is this project going to help improve any of that?
Yeah, I think so. When you're able to layer in data points that are enriched data points. What you can do is you can provide better quality for the advertiser, and the advertiser is actually willing to pay for that. They're willing to pay more for that. And so through this project, if you're able to layer in additional data that's in the public ledger that you can bid against, it improves our ability to target, and we get paid more for that. Our advertisers will pay us more for a user that sticks around and pays more within their app than they would for a user that comes in, just downloads the app, and then leaves the next day.
Thank you, Bobby.
Any more questions?
Nope.
You want me to come up with the questions
I'm
then?
good. We're good.
You guys are the VCs. Well, what about the team?
So the team is actually, so the company was founded 6 years ago. It was founded by 3 MIT engineers, another engineer from Tufts, and then I am the sole business fun guy that graduated from Boulder, Colorado. So that's the team. But yeah, it's very engineering heavy.
Awesome. Well, I have a bunch of more questions, but we are out of time.
All right.
Thank you very much. Round of applause for contestant number 1.
Thank you.
Contestant number 2. Contestant number 2.
Yes.
You have 3 minutes. You're ready? Go!
Yep. Okay, my name is Rex Wong, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of a company called Avon. Avon stands for Artificial Intelligent Video Open Network. Just as a background on myself, I've done 7 startups and 5 exits in the space, including a company called Applied Semantics. We created AdSense, and we're one of the first companies that Google bought. So Avon stands is basically a company that uses AI to create metadata on video, and we've put that on the blockchain. And essentially, it is a protocol for building decentralized video applications. And we use AI to go and scan through video to create metadata and find different information on video. And so we can scan video for face, image, text, audio, motion, object, and scene. And from there, we do that at a frame and scene level. So we actually can go inside a video. And we've put that on the blockchain because we needed the computing resources of users, because AI is very computer intensive. And so we use these resources and we enlist the help of crowdsourced users from around the world, leveraging the existing business that we have that has over 500 million users. And we enlist them to basically provide computing resources as well as human expertise, because the AI isn't perfect. It's only about 80% accurate. So we use the humans to kind of teach, kind of think of it as a baby, and we're teaching it, and it's learning, and over time it will get to become an adult and know a lot more stuff about the world. And so essentially, why are we putting it on the blockchain? Because we need to incentivize these users to provide those resources. And once we get that data, we need a ledger to record all that data and provide a unique identification for that video. And this forms our protocol, which people can actually build decentralized video applications. The first of which we will build is an open video search engine. And an open video search engine that will allow the ability to search inside a video versus just a video. And so we'll basically be able to delve deep in. And the metadata is important because it governs searchability, discoverability, and accessibility. And that's basically what we do. Thank you.
Thank you. Good timing. I was just about ready to hit the buzzer.
I saw that. So.
Well, let's instead have the VCs go at their questions.
Thank you, Rex. So, how are you different than YouTube? And do you ever worry that tech giants like Google will compete against you?
Yeah, well, in fact, we are different from YouTube because YouTube is not a search engine. YouTube is actually a hosting platform where people host videos, and it cannot search what it cannot find or what is not loaded on there. And so, for example, you find a lot of user-generated and long-tail content, but you don't get like premium content. Like Disney doesn't put their movies on there, and you won't find Game of Thrones on there. And so that's how we're different from YouTube. And in terms of Google, well, the problem right now is that the Googles, we'll call it the FANGs and the BATs of the world, right? So these are the tech giants either here or in China. They control 75% of all internet traffic, video, users, user data, as well as AI. And that is, for some companies, that's a little threatening, right? And so there really needs to be a decentralized and more transparent way to basically be able to catalog all this video and allow people to search, and that creates transparency. And that's really why we utilize the blockchain to decentralize that.
So Rex, who would some of your customers be, or what potential use cases do you have? Would it be news sites or like even NBA? Who can you touch more on that?
Yeah, so we actually have spun this out of an existing company that is one of the leading video platforms in Asia, and we power 1 in every 4 media companies in Asia. And so think of it like here in the US, ABC.com, as if it would be like TaiwanTelevision.com, right? And so across Asia, in about 20 countries, we actually have video platforms, and now we're expanding that back here in the US and as well as in Asia, in Europe. And so those are the companies that have content that right now they don't put on YouTube and is not very searchable, and they usually put content on their own sites. And so therefore, you need a central way to be able to find that content, but it has to be decentralized if anybody's going to trust putting content on there.
Rex, so this system will involve both humans and machines participating.
Yes.
How do you ensure that the economics work out for all the participants, particularly the humans?
Yeah, so that's why we've created our Avon token, and this token is meant to incentivize users to participate, and we can introduce that to our user bases, and we have about 500 million users, and so they'll download a client and be able to earn, and then they'll be able to use those tokens to actually buy content, and the guys that will be paying them will be these content owners and platforms because they want that content to be filtered and also tagged and indexed.
I just reached for the buzzer. I was about to hit it again, and
I saw that again.
You just wrapped up. Well, that works well.
Yeah,
thank
you.
you for presenting. Round of applause for contestant number 2.
Thank you.
Our final and third contestant, you have 3 minutes. Go for it.
Thank you for having me on the show. My name is Paul Sri, and I'm part of the IoTW team. We've done something pretty incredible at IoTW. We've created a way for anyone who wants to participate in blockchain or cryptocurrency to be able to do just that. And we've done that by creating a multi-layer mesh network. And I know that sounds a little bit complicated, but it's essentially just a network that allows any IoT device to participate in the IoTW network by validating transactions or verifying them. And this is all possible because of a new consensus algorithm that we've developed, which is called proof of assignment. And proof of assignment is very simply, we have the network decide which IoT devices, so we may pick a subset of those to perform the validations or the verifications. And this is in stark contrast to other consensus algorithms you may have heard of, like Bitcoin's proof of work algorithm, or eventually Ethereum's proof of stake algorithm. And so you end up with a consensus algorithm that is much more efficient and much more cost savings and much more scalable. And if we combine this with another protocol that we've created called the witness protocol, it actually allows for the network to identify other IoT devices on the network to basically witness or observe the validations and verifications that are already happening. And in doing so, we end up with a consensus algorithm that is extremely secure. And we believe that IoTW is going to revolutionize blockchain because never before has it been this easy for anyone who wants to participate in blockchain to do so. Thank you.
Oh, well, you still have a... Thank you. You still had a touch of time left. The music was just getting started. That means the VCs get to ask you even more questions. So VCs, are you ready? Go for it.
Yeah, so thanks, Paul. Can you tell me more about your target market and who will use your tech?
Sure. So that one's an easy one. One of the big philosophies about IoTW is that we're trying to make this technology accessible to the whole world. So rather than just target the very rich, those who are willing to invest tons of money into mining operations, buying ASICs or GPU mining rigs, anyone who has electronic devices at home can opt in to be a part of this network where you can participate in what we call micro mining. And in doing so, you're actually contributing to the health and the resiliency of the IoTW blockchain. So,
Paul, I don't know if you heard in the IoT or blockchain, there's a very well-known project called IOTA. How are you different than IOTA?
So good question. So there are a whole slew of IoT projects out there. IOTA, as you mentioned, is one of the most popular. Unfortunately, currently in IOTA state, they require what's called a coordinator node. And that node is required to actually scale the network by snapshotting the various transaction states. And because of that, ends up creating a very centralized sort of model, which is exactly the model this industry is trying to move away from. And IOTW, by virtue of having every single household participate, is by far and away the most decentralized model of consensus algorithm you can have. So it's pretty wonderful.
I have a couple of related questions. One is, do you support mining of different tokens? And
Sure, good question.
The other question is, how do you handle software updates?
Got it. So we currently don't support other tokens beside the IOTW token at this time, but we do have plans to support any number of tokens. And there are lots of projects out there who, given their maybe lack of ability to currently scale, might soon be very interested in the IOTW consensus algorithm. And so we plan on working with as many of those projects as possible. And to answer your second question, from a software perspective, we're working with a large number of manufacturers to update their firmware to incorporate the IOTW consensus algorithm, thus making it very easy to deploy this new consensus algorithm.
Quick, you only have a touch of time left.
Oh.
Anything else you want? Anything else to add?
I think that's it. I guess I'll also add that we have an incredible founding team. I think you were.
Oh, I was going to ask, where do you see blockchain go in the IoT field, since that's
But there's
your
no
area?
time for that
And there's
question
no
now, unfortunately. But that's a really good question, and I would love to hear the answer. But you'll have to follow up with him later.
Next show.
Thank you, contestant number 3. It's really awesome to hear about the innovation going on here. This new technology is just spurring so many different ideas and innovation. It's awesome. But right now, let's check out a little video to learn more about what's going on and what some other people are working on.
Hi there, I'm the Crypto Scout. Today I want to tell you a little bit about the crypto jungle.
Quickly tally up the votes.
Crypto jungle is basically the entire ecosystem that makes up blockchain technology. It's a whole industry of itself. Now, half these blockchains you see in here, they weren't even here 1 year ago. That's right, this whole space is growing like weeds. So it's really tough to keep in mind that just because one blockchain is older or younger than the other doesn't mean squat. In fact, today I want to tell you about one of my favorite blockchains, one that happens to be very new. It's called EOS, and is actually founded by Dan Larimer, a visionary that also started BitShares as well as Steemit. Now, if you add up the transactions per day of all of the BitShares platforms, or the tokens built on that platform, as well as everything being done on Steemit, you're looking at 60 to 75% of the transactions per day in the entire blockchain ecosystem. Now that really means something. In addition to that, not only did Dan Larimer make 2 successful projects beforehand, it also made EOS very unique. EOS is one of the only blockchains that has its very own constitution. And the most exciting thing about that constitution is that it allows people to get access back to their tokens in case they lose their password, or in case some kind of mistake was made in the blockchain where they sent their tokens or their EOS tokens to the wrong address. Now that's something you won't see anywhere else. If you're using Bitcoin or just about any other blockchain, if you send your tokens to the wrong place, or if you lose your password, you're SOL. Shit out of luck. You're not getting them back. So that alone makes EOS very unique and very interesting, something that I would watch closely. But there's one more thing. EOS is very unique because guess what? It also has some of the highest throughput of any.
Welcome back. I wanted to thank the Crypto Scout for his work on that little roll-in. The Crypto Scout is actually here in the audience with us as we're doing this live shoot. But even more exciting, the moment that everyone has been waiting for is let's find out which one of the 3 contestants scored the highest. let's get the drum roll going and let's have the award presented, please. Thank you very much. The winner is... Just checking if I can get you guys upside down. All right, so could you come on up, please? Congratulations. Now, as a reward, you're going to get 1 hour of mentoring from Tess to refine your project more, and I'm going to help you do a little video clip to help highlight your project.
Okay.
So congratulations on winning.
Thank you.
All right, now I wanted to thank our panel of judges for coming in here and giving their expertise. Real quickly, what were you most excited about in this project? And we don't have much time for that.
Well, for me, it's always a founder's bet. The amazing track record of Rex building real companies, taking it to actual acquisition level excites me.
Well, this was a very close one between all three projects. But for myself, from a technology point of view, I see the practicality of this project, and I really see pain points being solved by this technology model, especially in the advertisement world.
Super quick. We're almost out of time.
They're building a two-sided market for which they already have one side.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I want to really give a warm round of applause and thanks to the contestants, but also to our awesome volunteer crew that helps produce this show. Thank you to my crew and director.
Oh, you got skin in the game? Let me know where you at now. Crypto winter time. Watch me hodl, 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 hodl. Gang right around in my brand new
Won't
auto.
be the last.
Bootstrapping
Meanwhile,
money badger, Silicon Valley. Decentralizing Bitcoin, not blockchain entirely. Proof of work, proof to neutralize. Yeah. Consensus to equalize. So see you in my equalize. See it. Distributed distribution, scalable anti-corruption. Distributed distribution, it's an interruption. For real. Like a volcanic eruption. Boom. Money badger don't care. Nah. Hey, money badger don't care. Hey, money badger don't care. Yeah. All that fiat money from thin air. Thin air. Atomic swap. No more systems corrupt. Not at all. Now we talking tokens. Technology that fixes trust. Yeah. Knock out some banks. Rust. Money badger don't care. Silicon Valley, a thing of the past. Satoshi Valley, going exponentially fast. Innovation, Cali. Can't block blockchain. Nah. Money badger, Satoshi Valley. You should know what's up, man.